Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a review on the Cepher Bible. I've been looking forward to doing a review on this. I've had it just under a month, specifically 25 days. There we go. But you can see it has the Hebrew Aleph and the Tav. So the full thing is Cepher, but then the H is silent, remember, so then it's E-T Cepher. But just for short, it's the Cepher Bible. I got the hardcover edition. This is the Millennium. I believe it was the latest update from a few years back. Again, has those, the Aleph and the Tav. So the main draw, I'll get right to the point with it because I got a lot I'd like to cover about this. So the main draw with the Cepher is it uses the Hebrew names for where our English Bible uses just the word God. And it distinguishes itself from other Hebrew Bibles, such as this Bible I reviewed a while back, the Complete Jewish Study Bible, has the patriarch's name, for example, in Hebrew. Like Abraham is Avraham, Isaac is Yitzhak, and Jacob is Yaakov. So reading through it, you get to know that those guys' Hebrew name. But with God, it said Adonai every now and then, but other than that, it was just G-O-D, God. So that's where the Cepher Bible distinguishes itself from the Complete Jewish Bible, is that where even this Bible uses the English word God, the Cepher uses the Hebrew name. Whether it be Yeshua, Yahuwah, Yahusha, there's a bunch of different variants on those, but those are the main things. So what you see before you is I got the Super Deluxe bundle. So it came with the hardcover Cepher. It comes in soft cover, and it claims that that's large font, but to me, I mean, this font is mighty large enough. So it does come in soft cover. I don't know if it's genuine leather. I myself prefer hardcover. So let's get to what I like about this Bible. Oh, I didn't show you the rest of the bundle. So the bundle came with this Cepher lexicon, the names and places. So it takes, if you don't know the English, it'll look it up in Hebrew, and if you don't know the Hebrew, it'll look it up in English. So that's cool. It came with that. And what I like about this, really big font in here. So that's an example. So you wouldn't have any trouble reading that. Really big font. And then it came with the case, carrying case. And it also, because the Super Deluxe bundle, it came, here I'll show you, with a free set of tabs. So the tabs came free. They offer to put them in for you for 20 bucks, but I just put them in myself. All right, so that's the gist of it. So okay, let's get to what I like about this Bible. All right, so if you're not familiar with past videos, I've reviewed other Hebrew Bibles. Like I said, this one, the Complete Jewish Study Bible. That it's good into the Hebrew stuff, but the bad thing is it uses for the New Testament the critical text based on Westcott and Hort. So it's missing 16 whole verses. Other parts are changed. So that's what I don't like about this one. I'll get into more detail later in that. So I've reviewed this one, and then also I've reviewed these in the past. They're a set of the Perry Stone Hebraic Prophetic Study Bible, Old and New Testaments. So what these are just the King James Version with a whole lot of footnotes and additions. And they're in blue boxes. They're called blue nuggets, where they're really good into the Hebrew. So that I've reviewed those. So this is the other Hebrew Bible I have now. And say what I said. What distinguishes this is it uses the Hebrew names of God. So if you're into that kind of thing, this would be the Bible for you. So I'm just going to point out in this video what I like about it and what I don't like about it. And like I say, $100, 95.
What the heck?
So if I point things out and you're like, man, I don't want that, here, you can thank me. I just saved you $100. So again, what I like about it is it follows the King James word, meaning the words in italics, where translators added a thing. I can zoom in on a place. Well, wherever, here we go. Lest when, so the when's in italics because it was added for added understanding. So what I like is that, well, again, the King James translators, whatever you think about them or not, they were honest men, because when they put additions, they distinguished how. It's dishonest men who change things and don't let you know. So that's what I like about it, is it follows the King James. Okay, what else I like about this, let me zoom out of here, is the preface. I like the preface because they explain why they did what they did. Especially with the, look, it has a chart down here with the names of God, the Hebrew. So that's what I like about it. It explains it a lot. Where it replaced Jesus with Yahuwah and Yahusha, it explains all that. So that's what I like. I like when they tell me why they're doing what they're doing, so I understand why. Because I like asking other Christians questions, just because I'm curious, why do they believe this? Do they have chapter and verse, or do they just imagine the things? So that's good. And what else is, zoom in again. So there you can tell the Hebrew name for God, Elohim, is in bold. So whenever it's talking about the Father or the Son, or even the Spirit of God, they put that in capitals or bold too. So I like that because it's easy to see. What else I like about this Cepher Bible is the tabs. These are custom tabs, because they have not only the... So what I like about the tabs is it has the English name of the book on one side. See, but on the other side, it has the Hebrew name of the book. So I like that a lot. That's cool, especially if you're into the Hebrew words. So if you are into the Hebrew roots, you should look at the annual Sabbaths and holy days, because they outline God's plan of reproducing himself in man. So what else I like about this Cepher Bible is in the New Testament, they use the Textus Receptus, the text that the Vatican don't want you reading. That's why, what I really like about it. And the reason is here, I'll show you. So this is just a little pamphlet about what version. But if you look in this pamphlet, it says NIV, but NIV is the most popular translation from the critical text. So these whole verses, I think there's 16 of them or so if you count them all. Matthew 17, 21, all through there. You can pause it and look these up yourself. But the whole verse is removed. So like I say, because this complete Jewish Bible uses the Westcott and Hort critical text, or whatever they call it now, the critical crap is what I call it. I'm very critical of the critical text because it's garbage. So this, again, this complete Jewish study Bible doesn't have these verses because it uses the critical text, whereas the Cepher Bible uses the Textus Receptus, so it has the full text. Because in the critical text, there's nearly 3,000 words missing in the New Testament alone. So if you don't know anything about that, you should. And if you don't think it matters, oh yes it does. Because, look at this. Look how the King James reads Colossians 1:14. Talking about in Christ, in whom we have redemption through his blood. That's key, because according to Revelation 12, verse 11, we overcome Satan, the devil, the dragon, by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, and we love not our lives unto the death. So, through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins. But the new version, based on Westcott and Hort, removed Christ's blood. See? Look it up. New versions. In whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. Well, not without blood. Without the shedding of blood, there is no remission of sin. According to Hebrews. So that's why it does matter. So thankfully, like I say, New Testament uses the, or not the critical text, but the Textus Receptus. What else I like about this Bible? I like how, here we'll zoom in, if you notice, the chapter and verse are in bold font. So that makes it very easy to distinguish. Because certain Bibles have the number for the verse in little font. But this is, you know, big bold font, so that's what I like. What else I like about, this is more about the case than the Bible itself, is this, the carry case it came with. You know, it's fake leather, but what I like about it is, I called it a roomy case. Because here, I'm going to put this on here, and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so as you can see, I have my Cepher Bible in the case. So notice this, I can zip it up, and it has there's got a lot of wiggle room, so I can actually put my pocket size, there we go, it's all zipped up, and I carry this around me. It's this pocket size King James version. The Bible. I can actually put it right in the front pocket and zip it up so I can have two Bibles in one. So that's what I like about it. It has a roomy case. Alright, what else do I like about it? Alright, I like that it's well built. Like I said, it's solid. It's got a sewn binding. Not just glued, sewn. It's got a ribbon built in, just one of them. Hardcover. I really like the custom tabs, because it has tabs I've never seen before. Alright, so it's a good looking Bible overall too. I like the gold foil font here. Distinguishes it from the black. Looks good, like I say, it's a good looking Bible. The pages themselves are thick. Not real thick, but thicker than most Bibles, you know, that are paper or razor thin. So if you turn to the wrong with too much force, you might rip it. These are thicker pages, so I like that too. Alright, so in the back of this, see what I mean about custom tabs, is there's a custom tab that says Family History. So in this section, there's a whole section of, you can keep track of your family history and have the book passed down. It goes on for a few pages about the family history. So I like that. That's cool. So also what I like about it is it includes the book of Jubilees, Enoch, and Jasher. I've never had a copy of Enoch or Jubilees. I've had one of Jasher, so I have to compare it to see if they're the same. So I like that, because yeah, so if you're into that kind of thing, it includes these books. I believe they mentioned, the intro mentioned about the Dead Sea Scrolls or something like that. What else I like about it is these tabs. Like I said earlier, I chose to, they'll install them for $20. Unless you get the soft cover, then it's $30. And last I checked, you can only buy the soft cover with the tabs installed because they ran out of soft cover without tabs. So they do a good job of putting the tabs in. I've watched people's review video of who had the tabs pre-installed, and they did a really quality job. They all look lined up. One commenter said, man, they must have had a machine do it because it looks so good. But what I didn't, the reason I did it myself, if you order the hardcover, you can order it without tabs and put it in. Like I say, if you get the Super Deluxe bundle, the tabs are free. You just got to put them in. So I took the time, that was a lot of tabs, took the time to put them in real straight because you got to look at this for as long as you have the Bible. I think it took me about an hour and a half to put all these tabs in there. But they're in there now. I always put Bible or tabs in my Bible because it helps. If you don't use tabs, I highly recommend you do. So like I say again, for $20, they'll install them for you. All right, so that's pretty much everything about what I like about it. So if you've been thinking about checking this Bible out, hopefully this video helps. And if you were skeptical of the Bible, just wait till I hear, or what you hear, what I have to say next about all the things I don't like about it. All right. So these are the things I don't like about the Cepher Bible. So it contains many of the errors that are in the King James Version. And yes, the King James Version does have errors because it was translated by men who are flawed. So one such example of keeping an error in the King James, where is what am I looking for? All right, if you look here in 2 Corinthians, it has the books in a different order too, so you might have to look like I am. Here we go. 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians. So here's what I mean about an error in the King James. They faithfully translated over here. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 8. This is like a foundation, what should I say, a boosting platform to think you immediately go to heaven at death, but that is not actually what it says. But the word the King James used, they use the same word to keep that false doctrine of going to heaven immediately at death alive. So verse 8 says, again at 2 Corinthians 5 verse 8, we are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with El Hua. Again, that's one of the names of God. So it has a lot of more variations on the names of God in Hebrew than I've ever seen in at least the Hebrew Bibles I have. So where the word present is translated in other translations as home. To be absent, present, or home. It should read to be absent from the body and be home with the Lord. It's actually talking about the new home, the new body Christians get at the first resurrection. So all the errors of the King James are faithfully translated in here. So what else I don't like about it? And it's, well, every Old Testament, pretty much, translation is made from the Masoretic texts. If you're not familiar with the Masoretes, they were the descendants of the Pharisees who killed Jesus. So there were changes made gradually, eventually. And the reason they did it was because they wanted to change prophecies. Again, this is more a critique on the Masoretical text rather than the Cepher Bible itself. But the Cepher Bible does use the Masoretic Hebrew text for the Old Testament translation. So the problem with the Masoretic text is because then Kabbalah, Zohar, Gematria, all that was laced into there. So, and then like all that is it's like satanic Jewish Satanism. And it's done in code and numbers. That's the Gematria, where people's names add up. Like, for example, Trump to them adds up to 424, and that's a code for their Messiah. And when he went there and touched the wall, if you look at the clock, it was exactly 424, because it's all codes and in your face, and it's all planned. It's all fake. Wake up. And all the Kabbalah crap. So that's, again, a more critique on the Masoretic text itself. So that's the main problem I have with the Cepher Bible. And if you've never looked into that, you should. Because the Hebrew Masoretic text that this translation uses, and pretty much every translation of the Bible for Old Testament, is not the same Hebrew Moses and the old Israelites spoke in his days. That was known as Paleo-Hebrew. Whereas the Hebrew today is Aramaic. It was the language the Jews picked up in Babylon and brought it with them, along with all their dark magic, magicians. Wow. The rabbis are really magicians. So the hoodwink is where these false Kabbalah Hebrew teachers, well, they're false Christians, but true Kabbalists, they gradually baby step Christians into the Kabbalah by getting into this Hebrew stuff and the names and, all that. So that's, again, more of a critique on the Masoretic text itself than this Bible. So what else I don't like about it is it uses Hebrew words in the New Testament. And the reason I don't like that is because the New Testament's in Greek, not Hebrew. So, for example, and then at times they'll use the wrong, so if it's a Greek word, they use and it's only picking and choosing, it ain't for all of them. Because the one critique people have is it's not truly a Hebrew Bible. And it's not truly a Hebrew Bible. It's like a wannabe, because it's mostly in English, but there's selective words in Hebrew. Or should I say Aramaic. So if you want a real Hebrew Bible, this would be the one for you. The Interlinear Bible from Green. Because it has strong concordance. And if you're looking for Hebrew, there it is. True Hebrew. And then you read it from right to left. But again, this is the Masoretic text, composed by the Pharisees' descendants, with the Kabbalah right into it, translated right into it. So again, if you've never looked into that, look into it. But if you're looking for a real Hebrew Bible, this is the one to pick up. All right, so again, I'll give you an example of why I don't like they used Hebrew in the New Testament. We are in 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. That reads as follows, talking about to the angels, the fallen angels. For if Elohim spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to Sheol. So that word there, Sheol, is the Hebrew equivalent for grave, or Hades in the Greek. Well, that's the wrong equivalent, because in 2 Peter 2:4, talking about the angels, that's the only place, the word Tartarus is used. That speaks of the angels' hell. So this Hebrew Bible would point that out, because it has the New Testament in Greek, like it was originally written, and this one doesn't. So, with errors like that, it's like gasoline for people's wrong doctrine, where we require the real text, and then we use the text to be like your bumper bowl, and if your mind goes this way, the Word of God bumps it back on the right, and so on and so forth. All right, what else I don't like about this Bible is it could use more footnotes about the original language. There are footnotes, but they're rare. Very little help, too. So if the Cepher Bible is your first, Hebrew Bible, you're jumping in the pool at the deep end. I guess that's about how you could say it. But as you notice, there's no footnotes there. So there's a few footnotes, and they do help. But they're really short and they're rare. So I think there could be more footnotes. But that's, again, just my opinion. So what else I don't like about it is they seemingly change the number and verse in certain passages. For example, if we go here to the book of Enoch, what is normally, always heard it as Enoch chapter 1, verse 9. So chapter 1, yeah, like I said, them bold. See, notice there's no verse 9. It goes directly from verse 8 to chapter 2, verse 1. And notice chapter 2 only has one verse. And then it goes to chapter 3. So what I'm getting at is they broke off the 9th verse of the first chapter and made it into chapter 2, verse 1. Why, I don't know. But this is the one Jude quotes in his book. Behold, he comes with 10,000s of his Quadoicium to execute judgment upon them and destroy the wicked and reprove all the carnal for everything which the sinful and wicked have done and committed against him. So that's just one example of where they changed. But since we're in the book of Enoch, let's point this one out too. If we go to chapter 72, so I'm not encouraging or discouraging the book of Enoch itself. So chapter 1, I've always heard it chapter 70 or 72. So I've always heard it quoted as Enoch 72 and 47. Where is it? This one. But, I misspoke. I've always heard it quoted as Enoch 72 verse 37, where it says the sun and the moon are the same size. But in this Bible, it is in other books of Enoch. I don't know. If you have the book of Enoch, can you confirm that my verse 37 don't match up with yours? Maybe it does. I don't know. This is the only copy of Enoch I have. So, what I was reading, it's in verse 47 here, that normally read it as verse 37. So let's read it. And thus it goes in and out, neither slacking nor resting. It's talking about the sun and the moon. But running on its chariots by night and day and by night. Its light is 7 times brighter than that of the moon. So it's talking about the sun, 7 times brighter than that of the moon, but notice the last part. But the dimensions of both are equal. So that's in direct confliction with what NASA claims, is that the moon is 238,000 miles away, and the sun is 93 million miles away. But to counteract what you see, and what the Bible says here, the book of Enoch at least, is that they claim but the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, but it's 400 times further away, so it just looks the same. Well, this says the dimensions of both the sun and the moon are equal. And interesting at the other part where Enoch mentions that, it was referenced to me, and I looked it up, but it didn't match. Chapter 77, verse, I don't know the particular verse, but that one actually here, it just repeats what we covered. That one in the Cepher Bible is changed to chapter 78, verse 3. And it says, these are the 2 great luminaries, whose orbs are as the orbs of heaven, with the sun and the moon, and the dimensions of both are equal. So again, the verse number and chapter is changed on certain things, and that's just a few mentions in the book of Enoch itself. So I don't like that. What else I don't like about this is, again, the $100 price tag.
What the heck?
I don't like that. The whole bundle that I just showed you, other than the stand, was $152. but it did come with free shipping, so I like that. But I don't like it's a pretty pricey Bible. That might be out of certain people's price range. So if you're not sure about this Bible, I don't recommend you fork over $100 for it. I mean, it's worth it because, like I say, it's quality, it's build that you can tell they put their time into it. They've explained why they've done what they've done, but I don't like that price tag. So what I don't like about this lexicon here itself, that the Super Deluxe bundle came with, is a lot of the variations of the name of God, they didn't even have it in here. I looked up like 2 or 3 and couldn't find it. So I didn't like that, because like I say, this Bible itself doesn't really give you any explanation. Kind of expects you to be slightly advanced in Hebrew for you to even pick it up or order it, I guess. So what else I don't like about the Cepher Bible is the words of Christ are not in red. Whether you're into that or not, that's your preference. I like the red letters myself, so. And then this Bible itself, it could use more color. You know what I mean? It's just black and white, black and white. And I mean, that's fine, but if you look at this, like for example, the Complete Jewish Bible, for every book, starting, see that fancy colorful border? Ain't that pretty on the eyes? And that font is in blue and has variations on colors. It's, refreshing for the eyes to look at a thing other than just black and white. So it could use more color. Whereas this, like I say, this Complete Jewish Bible has a lot of color going on to it. So you can be a more colorful guy, but that's kind of like small potatoes. Alright, and what else I don't like about it? Now, if you're a Trinitarian, you love it, but if you're not, then the word Spirit is in bold. As if the Spirit's a person, but the Spirit can be breath, and at times it was bold when so yeah, it's just, well, that's more of a doctrinal thing than the Cepher Bible itself. So that's pretty much all I like about it, and what I don't like about the Cepher Bible. So going, this is the Millennium Edition. I'm going to end this video. I don't know how long I've been going on, but I had a whole list here. I went through the whole list. So this is the copyright page of the Cepher Bible. There's their information if you're interested. And I ordered this directly from their website. It's on eBay for more, but if you're interested in it, the bundle is the way to go, I would say. But the original version came out in 2013. Then there's an update in 2014, an update in 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it looks like they updated it every year since 2023 until 2024. So here we are at the tail end of 2025, and I just had this, ordered it from less than 30 days ago, so apparently there hasn't been an update this year. But yeah, other than that, here's the table of contents. So again, it has the Hebrew name of the book of the Bible on this side, and the English equivalent on the other side. So that's cool. And again, that's all I have to say. So, again, if you were to ask me, to close this video, can I honestly recommend this Bible to anybody? And my honest answer, whether it offends you or not, is no. I can't with a clean conscience recommend this Cepher Bible to you because it's really big into the Hebrew. The Masoretic text that has the Kabbalah and all that. And so, again, that's more of a problem with the Masoretic text itself than the Cepher Bible. So no, I would not recommend the Cepher Bible. It has its advantages over this Complete Jewish Bible. And then what's interesting is there are places where the few places this Bible, the Jewish Bible, didn't say God, it would say El Adonai. The Cepher Bible would use a completely different Hebrew name on multiple occasions. Whenever this one said Adonai, I'd look it up, and Most of the time it was another thing in this Cepher Bible. So that's interesting. And then I noticed there were Hebrew spelling in this that were changed to regular English in this. So even these two were differentiated. But again, the main draw for this are the names of God are in the Hebrew. All right, so I hope this has helped your purchasing decisions, because I'd hate to see a brother or sister throw away $100 they could use on other resources than this Hebrew Bible. I gotta say, out of all the Hebrew Bibles I have, this one's the most advanced, I would say. I don't know, they have their main strengths and weaknesses. So that concludes this, my personal review. And nobody's paying me to say these things, because these are my honest opinions, because there's no sponsors that I could anger by saying my honest thoughts. And if I didn't tell you my honest thoughts, I'd be lying to you. And you don't see me begging for money either, so I have no reason to deceive you. So again, this concludes my review. See you at the next one.
Yeah.